me switch over to my Visual Studio, which is right here. So what you're looking here, well, let me zoom in a little bit because it might be hard to see. Let's see. Let's do that. Yeah. So what you're seeing here is the source code for something called Geth. So that stands for Go Ethereum. That's the source code that was used for Ethereum. So what we've done is we've modified that source code to implement rebasing in it. Now, one of the things we had to do in the past few weeks is actually rip out a lot of things, because in the initial project, in the former project, we had all kinds of things like a fire pit, we had burning mechanics, we had tax mechanics, we had split gas fees, we had tokens transitioning from a treasury wallet to a burn wallet and things like that. We also had fixed rebasing, completely making it inflationary, etc. So there was actually a ton of code that has been stripped out to make way for the new model. And by the way, this is another point that a lot of people in the community cannot wrap their minds around. So let me just kind of try and communicate. In the previous project, the term that was used was called DEX. That term did not mean a DEX like Pancake Swap or something like that. It meant everything, the overarching protocol, the rebasing, the fire pit, the tax, the gas fee splits, the treasury, the burn wallets, etc. So when you see the term DEX in the context of the prior project, just understand that it does not mean a tiny little sliver of Pancake Swap or something like that. It means the whole darn project. Anyway, getting back to this, I'm really excited about this because as you can see here, this is the sort of console for the protocol. And as you can see, it's going through and there's a block being sealed every 5 seconds. So that's what's going to happen in Vitruvio is there's a block every 5 seconds. And if you recollect, the way the protocol is designed to work now is that rebasing is a reward. So it's really an early adopter reward system. So if as an ecosystem, we do well and we meet the transaction goals set for an epoch, and I'll get to what an epoch means in just a moment, then we get a rebase. If we don't meet the goal, we don't get a rebase. So now what's an epoch? So in blockchain terms, in particular, an epoch is a duration of time. So for our purposes, we have pegged the epoch at 17,280 blocks. Now I just said that a block is 5 seconds, right? So do the math, 17,280 by 5 seconds, multiplied by 5 seconds, and it'll come out to approximately 24 hours. So that's what it is. An epoch is approximately 1 day. I say approximately because sometimes the duration of that block might be like 4.9 seconds or 5.2 seconds, etc. So we don't go by linear time like on your clock. You can't say that, oh, there's going to be a rebase at midnight or something like that. It doesn't work that way. It works when the block 17,280th block is mined, and then every multiple of that thereafter. So now the challenge is, how do you go about testing something like this? Do you have to wait a day or whatever? No, we can't do that, right? So what we do is for testnet, we accelerate the epochs. So you can see here that the epochs here, the blocks are just 10 blocks. So we are basically saying that 10 blocks in the testnet will represent 1 day. It might be a little bit more or less. This is just on my machine. I'm trying out different things. So when we actually do publish it and launch it on testnet, we'll let you know what the epoch is supposed to be. The other thing is also it's performance driven, right? I got to have transactions going, but I don't have the patience or the time to keep doing transactions in order to meet this. So for right now, before we launch testnet for testing purposes, what we do is we automatically generate tokens at random. So you'll see here, there's a couple of lines. The developers among you might be familiar with this kind of code. What we are doing is that we are generating a random number of transactions per epoch and saying, okay, that's some number. It's either at the goal, it's below the goal, or it's above the goal. Now remember, our threshold for rewards is it's got to be at least 75% of the target goal. So you get a rebase if if the transaction count matches 75% of the goal or exceeds it. So 75, 100, and 125 are the magic numbers. So if it's up to 75%, there'll still be a rebase, but it'll only be a 75% of the actual APR that will be added for that epoch. If you exceed up to 25% beyond 100, so 125% will be increased in the APR multiplier that's there. So that's basically what's going on. And in this source code here, you can see the fully implemented thing. In fact, you can see that where it says, it'll say success when you meet the goal, and it'll say, sorry, the rebase was skipped for that. So that's exactly how it's going to be in real life. There might be days that go by where we didn't meet the goal. Maybe it was a weekend, or maybe it was, I don't know, the weather was bad or something and people didn't do. So you might skip rebases that way. And so one of the plans as outlined right now is that the rebasing lasts 5 years approximately. So we go from 50 million tokens to 250 million over approximately 5 years. Now that is contingent on us hitting 100% daily. There might be days where we go less, there might be days where we go more. And so that 5 years could be less or could be more. So we could have reached that 250 million faster or slower. It depends on how well we kick ass together, right? So that's important. So anyway, this is basically doing its thing. It's working. I want to see if I can. So right now for this particular test case, I have said that the epoch is 10. So what that means is whenever you see a block number, and that's what this number is, where the end is a 0, as a multiple of 10, you will see that there will be a sort of a rebase. So here, in that particular one, it says the goal was 334, the transactions was 271, and let's see what happened here. The ratio was 81. So it didn't meet the 334 threshold, but it exceeded 75% by 81%, right? And so the rebase was adjusted accordingly, and that's what happens. Once it's on testnet, which should be very in a matter of days, I'll be hopping on here again and showing you in real time different wallets and how that rebasing, etc., happens. But this is an important part of the protocol. In fact, this is the main aspect of the protocol, and I'm excited to share it with you right here live on my computer today. This is the code that's going to DevOps for deployment. So those servers are ready, Prabhu told me, and so they'll do some testing and get that deployed. So we should be able to tinker with testnet here very shortly. All right, so that's done. So let me get back to my presentation here.